Welcome back. Today I'm covering July 9th's Fanduel and Draftkings contests for the TBT tournament. So first, I like 5 guys to start your lineup with. Joe Johnson, Tony Roten, John Robertson, Scott Machado, and John Elmore. Now, if you pick Johnson and Roten, they're more expensive, so you kind of have to go with a expensive, cheap lineup construction. If you go with the guys in blue, Robertson, Machado, Elmore, you can go high-priced players, and then you can fit other high-priced players at the end of your lineup. So I like Joe Johnson because he's a former NBA All-Star, and he's not that far removed from being in the NBA. I think the reason he fell out was because he got a little too slow, but I don't think his talent has gotten that much worse. I think he's an easy play if you're going for the expensive, cheap lineup construction. Roten also played in the NBA. I believe he fell out because he couldn't really shoot, and the league was turning towards a shooting necessary to succeed league. So Roten kind of fell out, but I still think he's a very good player. He's a very good defender, so he can get a lot of blocks and steals. If he gets a lot of those, he could easily be the best player on the slate. Now, I like Robertson, Machado, and Elmore because they're lower priced options that can also score a lot. So let's look at Machado and Robertson first. 26 points last game, 23. Both pretty good. Robertson played 35 minutes. Machado played 34. Again, very good. Considering that TBT games are 9-minute quarters, that's 36 in total, not including the Elam ending. So around 36 minutes in total. Robertson and Machado played 35, 34. That's basically saying they played all but 2 or 1 minute. Robertson playing a little more, so that's why he's priced up a little more. If you consider that they're going to play a lot and they're going to get at least 30 no matter what, they're solid plays. Elmore is interesting because he shoots a lot of threes. Now, he took 13 shots and 11 of them are threes. And if he just makes 2 or 3 more of those, he could be looking at maybe 15, 20 points in a game. He also got 8 rebounds. I don't think that's going to happen again. This game was kind of a chuck fest from both teams, and he was just grabbing easy boards. I don't think he's going to get 8 again. But I think he's capable of getting 4 or 5. 10 assists. I don't think he's going to get 10 again, but I think he can get 5 or 6. I think he's going to score more this game, but if he can't score, he's going to pass the ball, as you can see from this game. And he's very interesting. He could easily go off if the right situation occurs. Now, above him on price, you have Wilcher with TMT and Ja'Cory Williams with Heard That. I like Wilcher because he's a big who can shoot, and he's kind of he's not just big and can shoot, but he's a very good shooter. Now, Ja'Cory Williams interests me because on Heard That, he's the only other guy who plays a decent amount. So everyone else played 20, Elmore played 30, and Williams played 25. So I believe Williams and Elmore are the 2 main players on this team. I think Wilcher and Ja'Cory Williams are top tier options that if you play Robertson, Machado, or Elmore, you could also fit in one of these 2. On DraftKings, I like Ja'Cory Williams especially because he's priced at $6,000, which is very, very cheap for a guy who plays 25 minutes and is a main part of their offense. If a guy has a positive number on this column, that means I like their price compared to their FanDuel price. I like them on DraftKings. If they have a positive number on this column, I like them on FanDuel. So, as you can see, a big 4 on FanDuel for Pooh Jeter. On DraftKings, he's 7,600. He's a very good player overseas, and I think $13 is way too cheap for him on FanDuel. I like him easily on FanDuel. On DraftKings, Devon Balkman Very interesting because we haven't seen Overseas Elite play yet, and he's also a guard with Pooh Jeter, so I don't know who gets a start. If Jeter is on the bench, I wouldn't play him. If Blockman is starting, I'd play him on DraftKings. Another guy I like is Joshua Bostic. So he played on Armored Athlete, and he played 26 minutes. So that's pretty solid for a guy who is priced at $5,000 on DraftKings. Very cheap. Bryce Alford hasn't played yet, but he's interesting. Devin Williams hasn't played yet, but $4,300. If any of these guys are in the starting lineup, I'd really consider playing them. Now, another guy I really like on Fanduel is Willie Reed. He's priced at $6,100 on DraftKings, but only $11 on Fanduel. If you pay up for Joe Johnson, you could easily put in Willie Reed and maybe Pooh Jeter if they're both starting, and your lineup would look fine. Another guy I like as a sleeper is Matt Mobley. Now, he's a solid scorer and a solid passer, but the part that interests me is that he plays on Armored Athlete, and he's also a very good guard. So he's behind Machado and Robertson. If you think that one of these players is going to get in foul trouble, then if you plug in Mobley and he ends up working, he's definitely going to play 30 minutes, and he'll put up a decent game at $4,611. Another guy I like is Ott Elmore and Stevie Browning. So Browning got hurt last game, and he was looking like he was going to have a decent game. He got hurt in the third. And I think if Browning is hurt, you play Ott Elmore. If if Browning is playing, I wouldn't really play either one of them, but Browning kind of looks interesting on FanDuel. His price is very low, and he had 13 last game in 3.5 quarters. It's I would consider him a punt, but I'd play him. Same with Bobby Brown. We don't know much about him, but he's $5,700 on DraftKings, $7 on FanDuel. If he ends up being in the starting lineup, he's a very intriguing play. If he's not, and you want to take a chance on him, I wouldn't dislike that, but it's a little risky. If you're putting him in a single GPP lineup, it's interesting. Now, another guy that I like to fill up your lineup is Bryce Alford. Now, he went to UCLA, and he was known for being a very good leader. Now, I really wouldn't play him on FanDuel. His price is sort of expensive, but I do like him on DraftKings. So, on FanDuel, the guys that I liked were Willie Reed, Pooh Jeter, and maybe Stevie Browning. So, already you have 19 per average player. I wouldn't put all of these players in right now, but after you put in Pooh Jeter and Reed, you can easily afford Johnson. You have 17 left. You can easily make that work. Now, on DraftKings, I thought that Matt Mobley was cheap, and so is Browning. I liked Bachman. If Bachman starts, so we put in Bachman. I like Johnson at small forward, since the small forwards are kind of lacking on DraftKings. I think you got to play Johnson. Who else? I liked one more player. Who is it? Devin Williams. He's interesting, and Bryce Alford also interesting. Oh, it was Ja'Cory Williams. That's what I was looking at. Okay, so Ja'Cory Williams. And there, you have 6,200 left to pick players. That means that you're picking from a lot of these players. So you could fit in Machado if you wanted. You could fit in Matt Mobley, very cheap. You could fit in, I like Matt Mobley there. The rest of the lineup's pretty easy.